Hey, one fact tuning into today's video, just going to have a quick look at the weather for the next coming week to 10 days. It takes into the start of December, so we'll be going into the beginnings of the winter with this update. The Atlantic's going to be coming back, had a cold snap over the weekend. It's on its way out now. One last cold day left for England and Wales, but after that, the Atlantic will be back. And although it won't go quite to the sort of level of temperatures that we had through most of November, which has been a very mild month, it is going to be a little bit milder than average, and I say the Atlantic will be bringing further bands of rain. But by the time we get through to the weekend, it could be turning a little bit on the stormy side, and that could take us through into the start of December as well. So I'll show you all the detail on that in a second, but before I get on with that, just say about the ads. There's these articles on the page of Gas. So let's have a browse widgets and click through links to the articles that you're interested in. Thanks so much for doing that. There's video ads on most pages. They open up the content. When you watch them, they'll close back up again. It's all helping to pay for the website. And also, just to say about the Christmas shop, if you've got any Christmas shop to do at Amazon, just click the button that says Christmas shop underneath this video on the home page. It'll take you to Christmas shop. And then from there, you just need to click through the Amazon banners. You don't need to do anything else. Just go through the banners, and you'll be able to do the shopping at Amazon as normal. But because you go from Gas Service to Amazon, we get a revenue fee on things that you are purchasing. So thanks so much for doing that. It's been a huge success again this year. So thanks very much for doing that. So just going to start off with censoring the temperature, because I looked at it on Friday, and we was running at provisionally anyway at 11.3 Celsius. Said we'd have a look at it after the weekend, see how much we've lost, and we have lost a degree of the CET over the weekend. So we've gone down from 11.3 provisional to 10.3 provisional. That's still an anomaly, over 3 degrees above average, and that is, as I say, provisional to the 22nd of November. I perhaps thought it would fall a little bit more than that, but we've not had severely cold nights, of course, but we've lost lost around a degree, and we'll be over a degree in terms of how much we've lost once we factor in today. So a fairly significant fall, really, in temperature there over the course of the weekend. But of course, it doesn't offset all of the warmth that's gone on throughout the whole of November. It's going to be a significantly milder than average month. I probably don't think we're going to break the record. I think the record from 1994 is probably safe after this cold snap. We didn't have any cold snaps at all in November 1994, so I think that record is safe for another year, but it is going to be a very mild November when we come to the final numbers. So we'll have a look at the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles. We've got the red line here, which is the 30-year temperature average, and these are for the next couple of weeks, so it takes us up to the 9th of December over there. Evidence of a bit of a zonal sine wave getting going here, so we've got warmer sectors and cooler sectors coming through at fairly regular intervals. So what it basically means is that it's an Atlantic-driven pattern where we bring warm fronts through the country with quite big warm sectors, and then we bring cold fronts through the country behind those warm fronts with cooler air, and this goes on a day-by-day basis, but we bring warm fronts and cold fronts through the UK, and although it looks generally fairly even between the warm fronts and the cold fronts, this usually averages out at this time of year a little bit milder than average. And the reason is just simply that you don't get the night frost because it's an unsettled pattern, so it's quite windy, and some of these rain bands and warm sectors are coming through at night as well. You don't get the night frost, and you really need night frost to get average temperatures or cooler than average temperatures. So although it does look evenly spread between warmer sectors and colder sectors, when you average it all out, we generally tend to come out milder than average, and that's the case throughout the winter months when you're in a westerly driven zonal weather pattern. Also, quite a bit of precipitation coming up as well. Not all that much through the rest of this week. We will have some wet weather tomorrow, which is killing off the cold snap and reintroducing the Atlantic. But it'll go drier to the weekend, but after that we are bringing precipitation through with this unsettled pattern at fairly regular intervals. You would expect that, of course. It's a westerly Atlantic driven pattern. So unsettled, probably not a washout for the southeast, wetter of course in the north and west, but probably not a washout, but an unsettled pattern with generally mild conditions. Seems as though it's going to take us through the end of November and into the start of December. The temperature anomaly for the coming week, going from the 23rd of November through to 3rd of December, comes out a little bit milder than average. Most of Europe still a bit colder than average. These anomalies will lift up as we go through the next few days. It's really left over from the cold snap, but these will lift up as we go through the next few days. And for us, we are looking at a milder than average final week to December. Not as mild as it has been through most of November, though. The precipitation anomaly, rainfall will be a bit wetter than average in the north and west, near normal elsewhere. The GFS then shows low pressure coming in off the Atlantic into Friday. That's going to bring wind and rain across the country through the course of Friday. Notice these purple colours up across Greenland and Iceland. That's signs of a polar vortex really starting to get going, and that's normally a sign that we're in for a bit of a battering from westerly winds when these purple colours turn up, but it's also normally a fairly mild signal. We go into the weekend and we keep it unsettled. It could turn a little bit colder over the weekend, these northwesterly winds. It's all Atlantic driven, but just from a more of a polar maritime air source, so maybe getting some wintry showers going in the north and northwest of the country, probably not down in the south and southeast. We go into the start of next week. This is Monday the 30th of November. Big warm sector coming in here with high pressure over Iberia. This intense area of low pressure around Iceland. That really is an incredible storm heading into Iceland. It's hard to see what the central pressure of that is, but it's got to be down somewhere around 930 millibars, I would have thought. So start of next week turning wet and windy, but very mild. Excuse me, very mild, particularly so in the south. We go through into the middle part of next week and we keep it generally mild and unsettled. We've got the high pressure here across most of central southern Europe. Low pressure is out to the northwest. So further rain bands coming through. The driest weather will always be in the southeast, but wettest weather always up in the north and the west. The ECMWF is very similar. We bring a band of rain through the country as we go through into Friday, so that could be quite heavy. Quite a wet day on Friday. Moving through into Saturday, we keep it unsettled with this westerly flow coming through the country. Another rain band perhaps on Sunday. That could have some colder air behind it, so I think the weekend perhaps has a little bit of wintry potential for the north, especially over high ground. It's one of those patterns that can deliver quite a lot of snow to the Scottish ski resorts, actually. So they'll be fairly happy to see these westerly winds with hints of cool zonality at times over the Scottish mountains. You're not going to get snow from this down across low ground across southern England, though. But cool westerly winds into the weekend with further rain bands coming through. So next week, bring a warm sector into the country on Monday, and that's still with us into Tuesday. Tight packed ice bars there Monday into Tuesday, so it could be very windy with risk of gale force winds, but it will be very mild. We end up on day 10, which is Thursday the 3rd of November, with another band of rain coming in, associated with an area of low pressure. So it's staying unsettled, I think, into the start of December, most definitely, and there is another low pressure system around Newfoundland just waiting to come in on the jet stream to keep that unsettled train of westerly winds going. And then finally, the GM is all very similar. Rain band coming through the country on Friday, into sunshine and showers for Saturday. Probably another rain band coming through Saturday into Sunday. Behind that, it turns colder with a polar maritime airstream, perhaps turning showers wintry in the north and west. Keeps it a little bit cold in the start of next week, where the other two models want to bring that warm sector through Monday into Tuesday. Generally, the GEM is a little bit cooler, but it's all very unsettled. It's all Atlantic based anyway, and low pressure is just coming through the country by day 10, Thursday the 3rd of November. We still remain very unsettled. Maybe signs of a bit of ridging in the Atlantic that could push us into a cooler pattern beyond this, but really up to day 10, it's mild, it's unsettled for the start of December. So we've had this little cold snap that's going, and really the Atlantic winds are going to re-establish. When they come back, I think we're in for Westerlies bend through to the end of month, into the start of December. There will be warm sectors and colder sectors coming through, averaging all out, probably a bit milder than average through to the start of December, with a fair amount of rain, especially in the northwest, less so down in the south and the east. So a traditional and very typical start to the winter, unsettled westerlies. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.